Hi guys, Amazon Big Deal Days are upon us, October 8th and 9th, and there are some really big deals. This one is a good one, so let's get right into it. I will list all of the links below in the description and the pinned comment, so you don't have to watch this video if you don't want, but you will miss out on my sparkling personality. Of course, all of these will be affiliate links because I am no fool, but let's talk about some of my favorite things. APS-C for Sony. We have the FX30 is $200 off. This is the lowest price they have ever offered. The FX30, they've done it a few times before, but when it's at $15.98, this thing is a real steal. Speaking of steals, the little ZV-E10, the original version, which was already very fairly priced, is $598. If you get the body alone, $598. Every time I see it at this price, I always think maybe I should just get another one. I have so many cameras, I don't need it, but still, I feel like I should get it. And the previous generation of the Sony APS-C, the 6100, the 6400, and the A6600, they are all discounted as well. So that is a really good way to get into the Sony system. That A6100, if you're a photographer only, that is one of the cheapest ways you can get that great Sony autofocus and get those nice E-mount lenses. Get that A6100. A6400 is still a very good hybrid. It doesn't have IBIS, so you're going to want to use it on a tripod or get a gimbal if you want to do handheld footage. And the A6600 it used to be their flagship. Now it's the A6700. Unfortunately, the A6700 is not on sale, but the A6600 now can be had for less than $1,000. So those are great ways into the Sony ecosystem that give you really, really good results. So now let's move on to full frame cameras and what I think is the best deal of the entire thing for the Sony cameras, and that is the ZV-E1 is $300 off. It is $1898. So you get an FX6 sensor, FX3, A7S3 sensor, 120 4K with barely a crop, 4K 60, no crop. This thing is my most used camera. I use this more than any other camera. It just is great. It's got that dynamic active stabilization, so it is fantastic for vlogging, plus its size and weight. The overheating thing, that is never an issue for me unless I am streaming for long periods of time in 4K, and then I just get a Ulanzi fan right there and I stick it on the back and then I stream for hours. I love this thing, and this thing is on sale too for the big deal days. Big recommend Sony ZV-E1. Unless you're trying to do things like 4K 60 for long periods of time, you're at someone's wedding and you have to film in the hot sun for a long period of time. If that's the case, then I would suggest you get the FX3. And the FX3 is $200 off, which is about as steep as they normally discount it for the FX3. That is good. An alternative to that is the A7S3, and that one is $300 off. So that makes that a fair bit cheaper than the FX3, really. So, a lot of people would want to go the A7S3 route. It can do pretty much the same things that the FX3 can do. It doesn't have a fan, but there's very little overheating issues on the A7S3, and it has that really nice viewfinder as well, which can be helpful at times. But that one is on sale, as is one of my favorite cameras of all time, the Sony A7 IV. This thing is $200 off and arguably still the best value in the entire Sony lineup. You get 2 card slots, so if you're shooting professional things, you have redundancy there. You can have a backup. It shoots amazing video. It shoots amazing photos. This thing is it's really hard to beat even today. And if you were looking for a cheaper way into the Sony full-frame lineup, the A7 III is now on sale for less than $1,500. So you get this wonderful full-frame camera. This really changed everything for Sony, and it upped the bar for everybody in the mirrorless camera industry, and it is still great. Even today, I do consider it more of a photo camera in 2024. You can get great video out of it, but primarily a photo camera because the video specs these days are a little beefier than what is in this guy. Still can do good video, still has amazing autofocus, but photos wise, my goodness, a great Sony full frame camera for under $1,500. For those who want the big megapixels, the A7R lineup is on sale. The A7R5 is $400 off, so that is a really great price for that fantastic camera. If you want to get a cheaper version of the higher megapixel cameras, the A7R4 and the A7R3 are on sale. The ZV 1-inch sensors are on sale. The ZV-1 Mark II, the ZV-1 Original, and the ZV-1F are all $100 off. That makes this little guy right here $398. So you get that great Sony menu with good Sony colors that you can manipulate to your liking. I really like this camera. The only thing is this camera is contrast-based autofocus. So I like to use this camera on manual focus. It is great for streaming, and you can use the autofocus. It works quite well when you're outside, but you may see some pulsing in the background on lights if you are using it, say, in a studio and you have it locked off. So when I'm using it in a studio, what I do is I just manually focus it, and then it works just fine. And then I have a nice little camera, $398. And if you're not into Sony, the other brands have some pretty good deals. The Canon R6 Mark II is less than $2,000 right now, as is the Panasonic S5 IIX. The Canon R8 is on sale, and that is one of the cheapest ways to get into any full-frame system, really. Now, the glass will be different. The Sony has a lot more lenses, of course, but the Canon R system does have some good full-frame glass. Sometimes you do have to pay for it, but the Canon R8, the body itself at least, it gives you that R6 sensor, but you get it in a cheaper price point. So if you're going photography-wise, I think the R8 is a great photography camera. It's just as long as you can find the lenses. Speaking of lenses, there are some great deals on lenses, especially the APS-C lenses. Sony's doing that thing where they take their 3 good APS-C lenses and knock some money off it. So the 11mm, the 15mm that you're looking at right now, and the 10 to 20 f4, they are all on sale. So the 15mm and the 10 to 20 are $100 off, and this great vlogging lens, this is the best vlogging lens you can get for the Sony system, and this thing is $50 off. But Viltrox is not going to be outdone by Sony. They have put everything in their lineup as far as I can see. Full frame and APS-C, 15% off. So these two right here, the 75mm 1.2 and the 27mm 1.2, these are their pro lenses, they call them, and they are two of the best lenses, period, for the Sony lineup, or whatever lineup that you have with these Viltrox lenses. They have other mounts as well, but I absolutely adore these two lenses. They are amazing. They were already a really good price, seeing how I compare them to G Master lenses, because that's what they are, I think. G Master lenses for APS-C for Sony. These things were already a fair price, and now they're 15% off. And then we have the 13mm 1.4, so you want a wider type lens, then here you go. You can use this for vlogging. Certainly, it's not as good as the Sony 11 for vlogging because it's not quite as wide or small and light, but it is much better for the studio if you're looking for a wider shot, because it's not so ultra wide. It still looks like a natural look in a studio, and it can double as a wide lens for astrophotography, for vlogging, and for landscapes. 1.4 lets in so much light. These Meika lenses, which you have seen on the channel lately because they are very impressive. I really like what Meika is doing. These were already quite cheap. This one is the 55 1.4, and that one is $159 for a 1.4 lens, 55mm. You can use this for portraits. That is really great. The Meika 33 1.4mm lens is $183. So what great ways to get nice lenses for your APS-C cameras. Speaking of budget portrait lenses, this TTartisan is $129. It's a 56 1.8 and it's down to $129. This lens will not disappoint you. You will love it, especially at $129. What a great portrait lens for that price. Viltrox is competing there as well. If you prefer a Viltrox brand, this one is a 56mm 1.7. So 1.7 as opposed to a 1.8. $153. I am reviewing this for the channel right now, and it is an excellent lens. One of the best reviewed lenses of all time, the Sigma 18 to 50, is $50 off. Everyone who buys that lens, pretty much they say that's their favorite lens for APS-C. It's just great. It just covers you for so much. It's so sharp. You can basically do macro photography with it. It is so tiny and light. It is a great lens. And if you want to cover a lot, the Tamron 18 to 300 is also on sale. I will list other APS-C lenses that I find on sale in the description if I haven't mentioned them yet in this video and I find them later on. Let's move on to full frame glass, and Sony has put a lot of their lenses on sale. I won't list them all. I will put them in the description, but basically almost $100 off everything in their lineup with the exception of the really new lenses. If they're brand new or they're GM2s, they don't have those discounted. But this one right here, the Sony 20mm, is $100 off. My favorite Sony lens overall is the 24mm G Master. That is $100 off. So pretty much whatever Sony full frame lens you are looking for, as long as it's not a G Master 2 or one of the really brand new lenses, it'll be $100 off or maybe $50 off. But once again here, third-party lenses have come out swinging. The Meika lens, this 85 1.4, which I compared favorably to the G Master version 2 85mm. Like, that G Master is a better lens for a bunch of reasons, but image quality, this thing really holds its own, and it's $375 right now. The G Master 2 I think is $1,800 and this is $375. The Viltrox 16mm 1.8, Sony doesn't have anything in its lineup that competes with this. There's no other 16mm 1.8 lens available for the Sony E-mount system. Wide, fast, it's actually not that big and heavy. This is a great lens and it is 15% off. In terms of lavalier microphones, everyone needs a lav mic. My two favorite ones are on sale right now. This one, the Hollyland Lark M2. Just look at the size of this thing right here. You just put it on your shirt, you will never notice it. This thing is now down. The whole package where you get everything is something like $120. This is more than worth it. And this Godox right here, the Magic X-T1, it just magnetically clips to the back. These tiny little transmitters clip to the back right here. Do you see that? Isn't that cool? And this thing sounds great and is $87. With the discounts, this whole package, which comes with wind muffs and it comes with everything that you need, is $87. There are some good deals on gimbals as well. The DJI RS3 Mini. This thing is on sale. It doesn't have a big deal red tag on it for some reason, but I can see the price is $279, and I think normally this is $369. So $279 for the RS3 Mini. It can handle pretty much any full frame setup you throw at it, even though it is a tiny, lightweight gimbal. Another gimbal I love that is probably the best value going is the Zhiyun Cinepeer Weebill 3E. That can do everything the Weebill 3S can do, but in a lighter weight package that is stripped down in terms of its price. And speaking of Zhiyun, most of their products are on sale, and I have been loving their lights lately. Very innovative, either tiny, nice little lightweight lights. These things here, this is like $87 or something right now. This very powerful, portable, pocketable light. This one right here is an RGB light. Don't fall down. Is an RGB light, and this is great. It's modular. You can just magnets click things on and off. This, the CF100. I've been using this in the studio a ton as my second angle. And this C100 here, these are two Cinepeer lights. It is their more budget line, but I don't see anything budget about them. These things have saved my studio. It's finally lit up the way I want thanks to these things. And I can also grab them and go. These can be all-in-one lights for you. Fantastic value here from Zhiyun. Small Rig is going bananas and releasing the RC120D for $140. A 120 watt light. That is a fantastic COB light. This one is the bicolor version. It's a little more expensive, but it is also on sale. And if you want to get the full kit, which comes with the plugs and the carrying case as well for the RC120D, that's $175. So that is the best value easily in lights going when it comes to COB lights that you would use in your studio with a softbox. They also have this cute little light that I just bought myself right here, this tiny little pocket light that I wanted to take around. This is $17. So how would you not buy a $17 light? I had to. Let's not forget about tripods. My favorite brand of tripods that have the F38 quick release system. These are on sale. This one right here is got a nice fluid head for video, and it is a really great tripod that is on sale for less than $200. Carbon fiber, fantastic. Use this in the studio all the time, along with this one, which is even cheaper, I believe. This is like $190 right now. It's got the really fast, quick release legs. I love this thing. I have my camera on another one right now because I have two. So these things with that quick release system, you get the backpack clip on, off, your little vloggy tripod thing. The vlog tripod things are also on sale. The one with that quick release button that I use all the time, that one is $35 right now. And these things, less than $200. Wonderful stuff, Ulanzi. And my two favorite travel tripods, the F38 travel tripod and this one right here, which is the more rugged, Falcam tripod. They are on the Ulanzi site on sale. You won't find these on sale on Amazon, but Ulanzi has put them on sale on steep discounts, so you can go there and check these out. I take this one everywhere I go. Unless I need something really sturdy, then I take this one. Gee, these two are just so great. But Ulanzi is not done. This backpack is $87 right now. I have used this a bunch. It still looks brand new. This is fantastic. $87, it was already a fine price, but $87, just that is a no-brainer right there for a nice quality camera backpack. And don't forget to stock up on things like storage and memory. This Samsung T7, these are the drives that I edit off of, because you can edit the 4K or 6K footage, whatever you want. You can edit off these drives right here. The Samsung T7, this one is 44% off this one right here in the 2 GB version. And the Sony Tough Cards are on sale, and I always like to stock up on the Sony Tough Cards. They are the only ones that don't fall apart on me after a couple of years of heavy use, so I always use days like this to get some extra Sony Tough Cards. Now, there are other things you may want to pick up too, like this iFootage A400 thing. This is actually a light stand, and I'm trying to cut down on the footprint of all the light stands that are really wide here in my studio and get these round bases here. So I have ordered a bunch of these things. This is now less than $100. These things are great in terms of keeping some storage space, and you know, you're not going to be tripping over your light stands all the time. Love them. And guys, there is so much more. If you find a really good deal, write it down below in the comments so that we can all check it out, and I will put it in my description and then give you no credit whatsoever. So thanks for watching this. I will keep updating these lists and my community posts all day as more deals pop up. I appreciate you watching this. We'll talk to you again soon. Okay, bye-bye.